Ah, yes, we need to talk about the Roadhog rework. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Now, I actually think this is quite a good rework. I don't think it's as terrible as everybody first sort of knee-jerk reaction was. Oh, no, what is this? It is a horrible change. It doesn't do anything to address Hog's biggest weaknesses and all of that stuff. Well, actually, I think it might. So let me try and break this down. And we're going to go over the gameplay in the background here because I think this is going to be a pretty interesting commentary on tanking in Overwatch in general. So the first thing I do like is this trap because of what it lets you do. You can see here, I've thrown Pigpen on the floor, and what I'm waiting to do is hook the Hog in. Obviously, our Torbjorn has used his ult there, so it's not going to work, so I can push forward. I like that bit of gameplay. You can see I managed to pull it off there, pulled him into the trap. It is really nice. It's a nice, satisfying combo to sort of pull off. But I think when we look deeper at this, we look at the way Roadhog plays. Well, he still feels like the same Roadhog, which I think, honestly, is a good achievement by Blizzard. I think when we look at his overall kit, I think I'm pretty confident in saying that it's not really about Roadhog's damage anymore. Like, that's not what is going to sort of be the pivotal kind of balance point for the hero. It's sort of like you've got these new, well, you've got the new ability Pigpen. You've got a redistribution in the way his Take a Breather works. And I think that's what they can look at for sort of tuning him to make him a little bit stronger. Because I do think this isn't a strong rework in terms of he's super OP, like you just can't beat this hero. Because you can. He's got a laundry list of weaknesses. You've just seen me abuse one of them there. Our Ana's been excellent this game. Is obviously anti-nading the Roadhog straight away, and it just enables me to go for the kill. It must be said that the Kiriko on the enemy team is also really good and generally does cleanse the anti-nade off their Hog, which, you know, in the Hog battle, whichever Hog's got anti-nade on them, they're basically going to die. Now, when I look at the primary fire, I think this is where Blizzard have actually... This is almost like a masterstroke. I totally get the argument that this is less skill because the alternate fire of old, it was a special sort of... It was difficult to get that, like, absolute pinpoint beautiful shot. We've all been there and we've all killed Tracer with one hit and it's been absolutely awesome. But I think they... I think overall this is better. It's more consistent damage. And yeah, it takes a few games to get rid of the muscle memory of wanting to go for alternate fire. So honestly, I just think as a primary fire, I think it's actually... It's really good. It's more consistent. I think that's the big takeaway. Now, I guess we should talk about tanking before we get stuck into Take a Breather. So the enemy tank decided to play Orisa. This means I die. And this means you will always die because Hog has never been very strong against Orisa, and it doesn't matter. Orisa just counts most of the tanks in the game. Basically, I need to play Sigma into this. It's the only way I can do anything. And as you can see, I play Sigma. Again, this is the awesome commentary on tanking in Overwatch in 2023. Now, they are losing because I've picked the tank which is better against their tank. But the question is how long will this last? Will the enemy tank decide to stay on Orisa, or have they been sent back to spawn, of which they're going to change to their own Sigma? Yeah, they're going to change to their own Sigma. So let's fast forward a bit here. Yeah, I've got my ult. It's looking great. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. I said it's looking great as well there. I didn't swear. Yeah, this is like the worst aspect of Overwatch tanking. And they really need to do something about this because it just becomes rock, paper, scissors. And it's not fun to play through this. It really, really isn't fun. It's fun to kill Pharah. Don't get me wrong. But yeah. Yeah, then let's fast forward to our defense. And I think, you know what, I'll switch it up, play Zarya. Well, they came out the gates with Reinhardt, so that's bad news for me on Zarya. So now I've got to change. So I'm thinking there's only one answer to a Reinhardt, and this is what you should always do as a tank player, is go for the matchup. Do not play Orisa. Orisa is literally banned. If I catch you playing Orisa, I'm going to report you to Blizzard for abusing the game. But what I'm getting at here, guys, is Orisa needs to be sorted out. And it's needed to be sorted out for a long, long time. Okay, you guys can keep watching the footage here in the background, and I want to talk about Take a Breather, because also mad respect to this tank as well. He played really well. They actually beat us in this game anyway, as you will see in a second. Actually, no, hang on, before we get into Take a Breather, yeah, so nice. What's this bit? Oh yeah, a shatter. I think this actually ends up being play of the game. It's obviously always easy to shatter when you run through the enemy Reinhardt, and my Ana kept me alive there, so massive shout out to my Ana. But yeah, Take a Breather. I think this is the issue Blizzard have got with Roadhog. The rework has made Roadhog squishier. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but it's made him weaker. The problem with Hog is if he gets hit with Discord, If he gets hit with anti-nade, he's dead. He's got no way of stopping the damage. And as you can see here, look, this tank swapped to Winston. Oh, no, this is not great for me on Reinhardt because I'm not very mobile. And the Winston's going to dive in. They've also got a Genji and a Sojourn. So they're just going in deep. I can't stop them. And yeah, but guess who's a good counter to Winston? Hog. So I go back to Hog thinking, now is my time to shine. we can do it. We have the technology. And yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I think the issue with Hog, the more I play him, is take a breather is not good enough. Like, they've reduced the damage reduction from 50% to 30%. I think he still needs the 50% damage reduction. Because, of course, if you get hit with anti-nade, the only way you can sort of mitigate the fact that you're not being healing is to use take a breather, because you still get the damage reduction. And obviously, if you've got a Discord orb on you, then you're thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to use it still, obviously, while you're taking damage, because it does help you mitigate damage. Now, Pigpen, as I say, is an okay ability. You can see I can throw it down again, and it's because I've got it in my head that I'm going to throw this down and I'm going to try and hook people into it, which again I think is fine. It's okay. Yeah, I'm not the greatest fan of it being as slow. It's literally Ramattra's Ravenous Vortex. That's all it is. It's okay. Like, I can see why it's there. I don't think it detracts from the hero. It doesn't really change the hero's playstyle too much. But I think we do need to make him more of a tank, Blizzard, and I would love to see the sort of, I don't know, the internal design document. And also, mad shout out to my supports here for even keeping me alive through this. I think I get nanoed, actually, which, yeah, because I was trying to knock them all off the payload. Yeah, I get nanoed. To like, you know, because it's an overtime, and I nearly got it, but just didn't quite make it. So maybe I could have made the play there, and we won this game. We don't win this game, though. They just brute force through it and kill us. It must be said, though, I think I'll bring up the score screen at the end. They have an absolutely cracked Sojourn, who was getting pocketed by Mercy all game. But yeah, whatever. I think I played okay in this game. I guess one of the frustrations with Overwatch, right? You can play well and you lose. It's just Overwatch. It's all about trying to get that average up, trying to get those, you know, get above 50% win rate, and Bob's your uncle, as they say. But yeah, look, I think I did okay in this game. But yeah, their two DPS were absolutely killing it, it would look like. But yeah, okay, decent game. So what have Blizzard actually tried to achieve with this Hog rework? Well, they've tried to make him more of a tank. They've tried to give him the ability to take space. Now, you see this spray above Ash? Wouldn't it be sick if they actually turned him into a dive tank? Let Roadhog suplex. It needs to be a hashtag. But yeah, it's a very safe rework. It's a rework of Hog's been in the game for 7 years. We don't want to piss off the Hog players by removing elements of his kit, although they have removed alternate fire, but they're not going to mess with Hook. We're not going to change his, I guess, his almost like the functionality of his weapon. The spread pattern obviously is different. You've got those 4 big projectiles in the middle now, but still, it still feels like Hog. And I think that, you know, the Junker trap thing, it feels like something Roadhog would have, you know, like as if Junkrat's made at him, like, here you go, Hog, you know. So I can see what they've done, and I think they've succeeded. But the problem is, I don't think this Hog really feels any different. Like, if I was playing the old Hog in this game, I'm not really, it's not really any different. In fact, the old Hog is better at taking damage because his Take a Breather has got the 50% damage reduction. Now, obviously, this new Take a Breather has got elements of enabling you to outplay the enemy. So if you are playing against an Orisa and Orisa throws her spear at you, which is what Orisa would do as soon as she sees you take a breather, it doesn't really matter anymore because you just get knocked back and you can carry on using your take a breather. Same as if you get put to sleep or you get interrupted any other way, or you get hit with, I guess if you get hit with anti-nade, you would still generally use it because you wanted the damage reduction. But like now, I guess it's a little bit more on tap, but again, the damage reduction isn't as good. I do like the minigame of trying to hook people into the trap. I do think the trap's actually quite difficult to see. You know, sometimes I don't even see it and I walk straight into it, but then maybe I'm just bad at the game and that's my excuse there. But this whole thing of trap on the ground and trying to pull people around the corner into it, I do think actually is kind of like a unique way of keeping the hook part of his tank kit. But as I say, I don't think this rework makes him any more of a tank. In fact, I think it makes him a worse tank overall, because when he is getting burst down, he doesn't really have any way of dealing with that anymore. You know, you could argue that in the past, if you get him burst down, then suddenly you pop take a breather, maybe you get interrupted, or you've got Discord orb on you or anti-nade on you, then what's the big difference really compared to this one? Yeah, well, this one, you're always going to have take a breather available, provided you've got the resource. But again, the issue is, it doesn't do enough damage reduction. Yeah, the healing's okay on it. Yeah, Hog's increased health and all this stuff. You know, they're all nice little things. But I just don't think they've made him much of a tank. But I don't think that's the end of the story here with this Hog rework. I'm coming at this from the perspective of they've built a foundation here, and this foundation is going to allow them to make tweaks now that are not directly to do with, let's say, Hog's damage output when it comes to balance. Instead, it's about Hog's tankability now. What is Hog? What should he be doing? Should he be on the front line absorbing damage? I think the lead hero designer actually said on the stream he took part in that an early version of this Hog, the take a breather, was AoE, but they scaled that back because obviously AoE healing of that speed and magnitude, that does lead itself into sort of goats meta and, you know, that kind of path. Obviously Junker Queen was super powerful at the start of Overwatch 2 because she had a similar, you know, effect with commanding shout, and that had to be reduced over time. So I can completely get that. But I do think this Hog, an awesome hook by their Hog. I went for the glory. No, don't want to die alone. Die with me. But I do think anyway, that the moral of the story here is all they need to do is, I think, increase the damage reduction on Take a Breather, and then we just sit and we wait. Because Hog isn't a, you know, he's a brawler tank. It's a little bit weird. You know, I go back to my crazy idea of just turn him into a dive tank, give him suplex like the spray. I don't know, something insane, because we've got a lot of brawler tanks in the game. You know, we've got a brand new brawler tank that's going to come out in December, and you know, like, how many do we need, Blizzard? Like, I know you don't want shields in the game. I know you want to try and reduce the amount of stuns and that and slows. That's why, you know, you've basically changed May back to our Overwatch 2 launch version, and you gave Hog a slow trap. And yeah, we could just go on and on and on, couldn't we? It's just a weird one, this is. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I think this is an okay start, but they need to give him more. They need to make him more of a tank, really. Up his damage reduction on Take a Breather, and then we go from there. But I do think his primary fire is probably the best change here, because if you're used to Hog primary fire, you don't need to make any changes, or secondary fire, I should say. You just carry on hogging, and it's actually pretty good. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. See you soon. And that was a disgusting C9.